All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Boys in Motion podcast. I'm Tyler, always joined by your co-hosts here, Brian and Andrew. And today, it's an episode that the BIM community has been waiting for. The 2025 BIM Awards. This is now our yearly tradition. We're on year 2, where we crown some winners at some categories, and we go one by one highlighting some of our favorite memories and some of our favorite athletes here at the Boys in Motion community.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, this episode isn't just about handing out fake internet trophies. It's about recognizing the people who kept showing up, pushed through training blocks, inspired others to be better, and made endurance sports for us and hopefully for the whole community way better and way more fun than they really should be and are if we were all alone. So, if you've ever needed motivation to stay consistent, this episode is proof that community is that cheat code.
And this year, we have a twist. Instead of just picking the winners behind closed door like some secret BIM committee, the community voted. A couple weeks ago, we put up some stories and you put your votes in. So real polls, real receipts, and we have a couple thrown in there as well. So buckle up and see if you win a BIM award this year.
I love it. Can't wait for this. I know we had a lot of fun with this last year. And again, the newish format with the polls on Instagram, I think worked very well. We had some good feedback there. And then, of course, like you mentioned, Andrew, we got to always throw in a couple curveballs. So I think we almost doubled what we've shown so far to the community. Yeah, listen up and let's see who wins some nice awards.
Yeah, perfect. So before we dive into that, as is regular on this show, we're going to do a few updates. And of course, the thing that's taken the community by storm, and pretty much every running community across North America by storm, is Burrito League. Both of you are in the weeds of Burrito League. Andrew, you're running Toronto, and Tyler, you're the minister of burritos up in Ottawa. Excited to hear from you both. For anybody who's new, if you don't know what Burrito League is all about, we actually spoke about it in our last episode, so I encourage you to take it out. But the short notes is there's a Strava in a couple cities. Strava segment in a couple cities across North America that people are competing to see who can do the most segment completions in the month of January. And in some towns, the count goes really high and ends up requiring thousands of turns across a segment to get that winner's banner at the end of the month. So it's grown like crazy. And it's tied to the BIM mission now. The community is great. The endurance is absurd. Andrew, why don't we start with you in Toronto? What's going on?
Yeah, so the competition in Toronto has been quite spicy. Speaking of thousands, the males competition has officially cracked the 4-digit loops with the first place Paul currently at 1,022 loops. And then closely behind, Josh is in the second position with 974 loops. And then me in third place, holding strong in third place with 815 loops. I didn't quite have as crazy of a weekend, but just a couple highlights is both Josh and Paul threw down 50 milers on Saturday and then following up with a decently big day on Sunday as well. So the male side has been pretty exciting. On the female side, it's been exciting too, and a big change this weekend was that a lot more women came out and joined the loops. Before we have Rebecca, who's strong in first with 531 loops, and Brienne in second with 303. And before that, there wasn't really a third place woman to get that third place $100 Black Toe gift card. But there's been a bunch more women in the mix, so now they're fighting over third place. So it's getting pretty exciting, and there's some serious mileage being put down in Liberty Village.
Good. Pain and suffering. It's lovely to hear. It's one of those events where misery loves companies. It's awesome to see the competition that is happening in Toronto and the serious mileage being thrown down by both genders now, which is great to hear. I'm glad the women's side is heating up a little. Tyler, not only did you post maybe the best Instagram photo I've ever seen in my life of you as the shawarma or burrito minister, but you're also organizing and getting some awesome prizes going on the Ottawa Burrito League. So tell us about
I
it.
mean, I couldn't do that post without my cabinet underneath me, but yeah, that picture went amazing. Did amazing on the standings, and yeah, now I'm the new crowned minister of burrito affairs in
One
Burritoville.
question: who was the creative genius behind that?
Of course, Gizzard the Lizard.
Was the Gizzo?
Yeah, the CEO of BIM was Gizzard the Lizard. He definitely made that post, and yeah, it's gone through the airwaves and have seen every corner of the world. For Ottawa is also heating up, not at the same rate as Toronto, of course, because Toronto are throwing down wild mileage, wild loops, but we are getting a little bit of action here in Ottawa. Let's say the government town is moving a little slowly, but we are getting some feedback here, and some amazing prizes were just announced to add to the grand prize pool. But just a quick update here as of yesterday, last night, we still have Ezekiel in the first spot here with 132 loops. Did a little bit of a stint actually a decent stint this weekend with over 30K. Mustafa still on that second place. And I find it crazy because these guys, I got to chirp them a little bit, I guess. These guys are running indoors when they could be running some burrito loops. So that's a big penalty, I think, to the Burrito League community, but they're still crushing loops outside and inside. And we have a newcomer to Burrito League, and very spooky to see him come up in the standings in the third spot, Dennis Kim. He is teasing the fact that he is just getting warmed up. So he's getting ready to throw down some serious mileage, I think, in the coming week and weekend. Stay tuned for that crazy mileage, and I think there's going to be some nice turnover in the standings here. And we have Phil Stevens in fourth here, not too far back behind Dennis Kim. I think it's still wide open here for the top three, and I'm just hanging on by a thread just to stay in top five to keep everybody in check. Boots on the ground. I got to do my audits here.
That's it. You got to keep that base going. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm just trying to keep up here, and I'm getting people coming out on the loops. But yeah, we have about 20 participants total. We're getting more and more kind of trickling in every day or two. Some people with some crazy efforts, and we even have a top 5 female as well leaderboard. So we have actually Savannah just passed the first place Stephanie by a couple laps tonight, actually. So now they are going back and forth. So that's a good little rivalry going on there. And we have Emily Bevington not too far back too. So they're all 36 laps, 34, 33, 32. And Zeke is still not too far off within 21. Wednesday, I guess people are listening to this tomorrow. Wednesday, there will be a group run. So I think there's going to be a big turnout there, and there's going to be lots of laps ran. So Ottawa's getting excited. We're starting to heat up a little bit. And as Dennis mentioned, he's just getting warmed up.
That's good to hear. I can't wait to see some of those big efforts in Ottawa. It's a cold town. I know there's snow. I heard there was ice on the track as well. But all of that makes for great stories. And looking back at the end of the month, yeah, it's a monumental effort for everybody who's involved. I was counting my blessings as the snow landed over the weekend that there isn't a Burrito League here in Niagara. So good on you guys for being a part of it. But yeah, everybody we're not all jealous, but we're definitely watching you guys, and you guys are doing incredible things. So good job.
Yeah, super fired up. And I guess, again, we're going to be trying our luck here with an up north update presented by Boys in Motion from Toronto and Ottawa, tuning into the 24/7 stream in Tempe. So we've been talking to the founders and all the guys organizing it here over there on the main page, and doing an amazing job doing all this turnover so quickly. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty fun stream. The snow and ice here in Canada, Toronto and Ottawa, and then the nice calm and heat in Arizona. So it's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah, can't wait to tune in. So what time is that Eastern?
6 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
So we'll do 6 p.m. Eastern live stream, and then into a 7 p.m. run. So the minister will be very busy on Wednesday, but it's all for the burritos.
And now, Andrew, you were already on the live stream. It was a little bit scuffed because you could only hear your responses to the questions. Will you be running again during this next interview, or do you plan to be cooped up in the office?
Oh, I'm definitely going to be running. I'll be out there. That's peak run time. I'm hoping from past, my fingers were very cold by the end of the live streams, and it's supposed to be a little bit colder this week than last week, so it should be interesting, but I'll have my battery bank ready. And I'm hoping Tyler doesn't get froze out again from this time, because there's some technical difficulties over there in Ottawa.
Oh yeah, the second I got out of the car, I was waiting in the lobby, and I think that's why you got in first, Andy, because I got out of the lobby, went back in the car to warm up, and by the time I went back on stream, you were online. Yeah, we're going to try to avoid some technical difficulties, and I already gave Connor, the director, a heads up that we will not be able to stay longer than 30 minutes because the hands and the phones start dying after 30.
That's it. They're not used to the cold. That's awesome. I'm excited for more to come. And I know some of our Instagram followers are also excited for this to be over in 12 days because they're getting bombarded with the notifications coming from the BIM account. Either way, looking forward to more exciting things happening. Let's switch over now. I got the official BIM Awards jacket. The BIM Awards, this is our second year doing them officially. The BIM Awards last year were something that we just pulled together and made the top people and picked the recipients of each award. This year, like you said, it was a little bit different. We actually had our Instagram followers vote on many awards, but we saw that the voting was a little bit skewed. Hey, Tyler?
I don't know what you guys are saying. I think the voting was very well rounded, and let's call it the nomination pool was also very well rounded here in the eastern parts of Ontario.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so let's go through. I think we have, I don't know, roughly 15 or so awards. We're gonna kick things off with something that is a little bit more of a general award for all of the newcomers to BIM. Welcome to the community. You've been doing great things, and you joining the community actually motivates us to keep doing great things, to keep running the podcast, to keep putting out events and content. We've got a short list of names, so I'll mention them here. And I know there's a few that were on the Instagram post as well, but specifically Nathan McDuff, Devin Shanahan, Alain Bonis, and Tomic Conifal. I also have Strava Boy, but I think that's Alain, right? And then also Ezekiel, who are all like new members to the BIM community.
Yeah, exactly. Big shout out to those guys. And yeah, welcome to the BIM community. Is just, let's just say it's up for your VO2 max and your cardio from here. We got next up here on the next award here, we got Recovery Run Royalty. I like this one because you never know what you're going to get out of some of these people when you see their name pop up on Strava. So I guess we had up on the screen who's most likely to call this a recovery run. And let's just say to those watching or listening only, it's a 10K run at 4:14 per kilometer pace. So a 42:50 5K, 10K, So our nominees were Adam Bosco, because he does do some pretty freaky fast runs randomly. We had Nathan McDuff, that basically any one of his runs did not start with the 5 minute in front of them. We had Tomic, because he is just another freaky man on the track, that he loves going to the track weekly. And Brendan Neef, just a absolute laser beam on and off the race course. So the winner there, by actually a pretty large margin, was Nathan McDuff. He had a pretty crazy season just starting out, but every run was fast.
That's exactly it. Like, I think this is well deserving of Nathan, because when he goes out for a recovery run, it's usually still a PR. And Adam's pretty similar. Most of his runs end up being PRs or he's injured. I'm not too sure about Tomic, because all he does is VO2 max. He's never had a recovery run, but I bet some of those weeks he feels like he's recovering, but it's still a VO2 max workout. So some great nominees there, but definitely McDuff. I don't think I have ever seen him run slow. He only runs one speed, and that's go.
I'm glad that did come out in the community polls as him on top, because yeah, it was definitely accurate.
All right, next up will be the Always In Award. So this is for the person who always shows up, no matter the activity. You tell them date and time, they show up without any questions. And our first nominee is Kyle Romans, which I have not done too many activities with him, but looking at Tyler at your Strava, I always see him just tagging along. He's training for big events, but anytime you're like, here's a big training day, Kyle's always in and doesn't seem to ask too many questions because I've seen the outcome of some of those events. Next up, Mustafa Al-Saba, and I see him on Strava, just such a wide variety of things. During December challenge, give him someone's challenge, he was like, yes, I'm in no matter what, even if it came at the expense of his own challenge. The next nominee is Ian Pasiak, and Ian, if you tell him something, you say, oh, there's a 5K on Saturday, and you're telling him on Friday night, he'll say, yep, I'm in, sign me up. If you can find me a bib, I'll come to Toronto and do it. Same with training days. You book a bike ride and he says, all right, we're doing a brick run right after. Just no matter what, he wants in. And next, John LaPlante, who, same thing. In that Ottawa community, it seems if you book an event, you book a training run, they're always in, they're getting you out there. I know, again, for the December challenge, he was getting you out, Tyler, through your big winter slumber, and he was just always just ready to go with that consistency king over December. But, and this is from the votes, the winner of this award is Mustafa. And I think this is very well deserved, especially after what he did during that December challenge. Congrats.
Yeah, very well deserved.
Big
I'm sure
ups.
you have some stories of some last minute crazy things that you've been able to get Mustafa to say he's in for.
Oh, of course, and it's still going on. Still with the almost daily and weekly, he's always in no matter what.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations.
And next up, and this is one that we threw in from last year. This one wasn't voted on by the community, but that is the Rookie of the Year. And the first nominee here is, once again, Ian Pasiak. And this is 2025 was a year of tons of PRs, trying tons of new things, tons of new endurance activities, bunch of 5K PRs, a bunch of new distance PRs, joining the BIM ride for both days when he didn't know it was possible. So it was just a big year of yes to endurance sports. And I think 2026 will be a really big year for Ian. And second nominee is Devin Shanahan. And this one, he's a very good nominee because he started 2025 as a certified sinker. And after the December challenge, meeting his goal, I believe, was it of a 2:20 pace for 200 meters. He is now given his swimmer certificate going into 2026. So I'm very proud of that. Yeah. And our next rookie, that is Nathan McDuff. And although into lots of sports, it has been doing lots of things before 2025, I think this was really Nathan's first kind of year intro into endurance sports, into competing with Tyler in the 5K and the half marathon. And let me tell you, he came in with a bang. But the winner of this award has got to be Ian, with just such a massive year. And I think the glass is totally filled up. He's fully in, he's drinking the Kool-Aid, and I think he's revving to go into 2026. And I know he has some big goals and has already done his first half already in 2026. So yeah, it's going to be a big year.
Big things for Ian. I'm excited to see what it's all about. And he treats Coach Garmin like it's Jesus, so I don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, Ian blindsided me with that half marathon early into this year. It proves that he's coming into his veteran or at least intermediate stage now that he's running half marathons. But seriously, well deserved. It's super inspiring. We actually had him on the pod at the beginning of the year when he was revving up to his first 5K race, I believe. And now he's ran on a few continents and has passed that half marathon mark. So it is wild to see the progress that he made this year, and super well deserving. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's true. I totally forgot about that. We had him on here as the, hey, how do you feel going into your first 5K? And then boom, a random Sunday just hits a half marathon out in the block like it's no big deal. We got the next award here. One of my favorites, honestly, the Consistency King and Queen. So I decided to do, let's call it couples awards for this one, because I was thinking of individuals and then I said, actually, their partner is just as consistent, which blows my mind. So yeah, the nominees here were Jonathan and B from Ottawa. They are, if you did follow them during the December challenge, they did 5 miles a day for the whole month with, of course, both full-time jobs, a full family, a dog, you name it. They were out there running the 5 miles. So big kudos to them. We had, of course, the OG, let's call it, Consistency King and Queen, and actually newly engaged, Ross and Claudia, sorry. Ross was on the pod, was it last year or the year before?
He was actually the first ever guest on the Boys in Motion podcast.
Exactly, our first ever guest, and his topic, I guess, was consistency because he was doing the 1 mile a day, and now he's over probably 8 years of 1 mile per day. So again, both of them super consistent, literally every day. They don't need a December challenge to keep running. So big kudos to them. We have Charlie and Erica, which had a crazy month and overall very fit year as well for both of them. So that was pretty fun to see them keep going and keep working out, and also together, of course. And then Alex and Claudine, absolute both monsters. No matter what sport you bring them to, they're just going to crush the mileage. They go on multiple trips per year, a lot of cycling, a lot of running mileage. But for this year's Consistency King and Queen, we had to give that to Jonathan and B. And again, this was a vote. The people have spoken. And yes, they won the award for consistency.
Yeah, and the runner-up there was Charlie and Erica. And just to prove how fitting the award was for John and B, Charlie actually nominated John and B for this specific award through the chat messages. So super well deserving. The couple that came in with the lowest amount of votes, Alex and Claudine, they are both on the podiums at endurance events, just to show you how competitive this category was. One thing that is clearly proven in this category is that if you've got a partner that you can train with, you can go long and you can be consistent in that lifestyle. So absolutely awesome. Now, I would say that our next category here is maybe our first joke award of the year. And this is an award that nobody wants to receive. I think every year before BIM was actually founded, Andrew was the recipient of this award, but it's now been passed on to community members. So this is an award that is the Most Fragile Shins Award. And there were 2 clear nominees for us. And these are 2 people who also completed their first marathon this year. And I think it was the cumulative volume of that block that led them to both have debilitating shin splints. I've heard them going to massage, chiro. They're both rolling constantly pre and post run, and they are full steam ahead on the recovery train. That is Adam Bosco and Michael Brunton. Adam Bosco, however, has recently discovered the electrode treatment at the chiropractors and is saying that he's feeling a little bit better. Whereas Michael Brunton, I'm not so sure. So this award goes to Michael Brunton, who earned these shin splints in his first marathon block and not in the big long run immediately after his marathon, like Adam received. So congrats, Michael Brunton, on the Most Fragile Shins Award. I hope you don't win it next year.
It's tough. It's a tough place to be. I feel for you. I feel for your shins. My shins were there last year too, but I'm just happy I didn't get it this year. So kudos, Mike, for taking it from me.
Big Mike's got to stay on the bike is all I got to say. He's a freak on the bike, and I can't wait to see him on the next ride.
And you know what? This is his secret edge on the community, is this guy is putting in more bikes than anybody else that I know right now. He's on there 5 or 6 days a week. He's even posting them ghost mode so that he can drop Mark in the spring. That's the inside scoop.
Is that what he's actually doing? I'm starting to get spooked too.
He's gonna outsprint you at the BIM ride.
It's okay. I got him on my whoosh because he doesn't know how to work his trainer, so I'm good still. Next award here is a race day regular. I put this nomination out as a poll as well, so this was a community-based win here. So of course it's self-explanatory. Who has been to basically every start line this year? So we have the nominees: Charlie Knowles, we have Mustafa El Saba, we have Mr. Chris Carter, and of course, Kyle Romans signing up for ultra races even before he knows if he could run a 10K. So again, with the community picks, we do have Mustafa as the winner of this award. And actually, Mustafa won by quite a bit of a margin and everyone else was the same amount of votes. So again, I guess his training matched his race schedule and his calendar was basically filled.
Yeah, there's a few athletes in the community who their race calendars scare me, but nobody more than Mustafa. If the day ends in Y, he's down to sign up for a race on that day. A spooky win from Mustafa. God bless all the race organizers that are earning revenue off of his dime. But it is impressive because every time he goes to that start line, he's going full blast and it's evident. So congrats. The next award that we have up for grabs is the Run Clubber. So this is the award for the person who is always at run clubs, whether they need to be training that day or it's an off day. They seem to hit the cafe, hit the brewery, and they're there for a good time every time. So the nominees here are JC from Ottawa, that's Jean-Christophe Castilla, Chloe Nolette, coffee cruiser, somebody who is close to, I think, the North End Run Club as well, and is often attending many run clubs around Niagara or organizing them herself. And then finally, Christopher Carter. Some have said the name's Dutchy. And he, I think, more than anybody else, is always running with somebody. Wherever he goes, the run club follows. And he's constantly doing activities, taking photos, posting to Strava, but more importantly, he's in it for the social aspect. He's always out with people. It's great to see. He really brings the vibe to every run he goes to. Whether it's organized or not, he'll be there if there's coffee or some socializing to be had. Christopher Carter 2025's Run Clubber Award.
Big congrats to Chris Carter. Every time I see him post, like you said, it's with a group of people and it's just looks like so much fun. We got the next award here, which is another one that was very tight and very sought after. And this one actually had 2 nominees only. And they could have both won this award, I think, on any given day. And actually, this was split by 1 vote here. And the Bonkosaurus Rex Award goes to Kyle Romans. So this one, of course, has been who has bonked the most in 2025. I mean, Mustafa had a lot of close calls and did make some pretty entertaining bonks. But I mean, nothing other than Kyle. Kyle Romans did deserve this award.
Yeah.
Now, I would say my recommendation would be to just race a little less, focus on those A races. But unfortunately, I've seen both of their race schedules for 2026, and I don't think that's an option.
That's what I was going to say. Somebody needs to send a shipment of carbs up to Ottawa because the 2 of these guys, the amount that they train, oh my goodness, I would not want to see their grocery bill. I bet there's a bag of sugar every time they hit the store.
The motto in Ottawa here is 1 A race per month. So I don't know what you guys are saying, but I think they're right on track for that starting in May. There's a race this weekend. I think Mustafa has joined.
Yeah, incredible. Well, let's move on to the next one, which will be the Ghost Award. And I love this award, although I hate to see it because these nominees that I'm about to go over had strong starts, big performances, and then just fell off the face of the earth, and we haven't seen them. So, the first nominee, that is Jacob Froese, a past BIM Award recipient and had a very strong early 2025 at Around the Bay, finishing with Big Mike, having a big block, having that big marathon debut, or almost marathon debut, but we just haven't seen him since. He fell off the face of the map. Strava is empty. We're not even sure if he's with us anymore, a part of the BIM community. The next up is Devin Shanahan. And although in late year you've been consistent with your activity, I love to see it. But there's one thing I've noticed, and that is you might be a fair weather runner, which I hate to see, because you used to be on that track doing those VO2 max workouts with Tomek, and now that you're both married, it just seems like you fell out of love with the track, out of love with running, and you've given it up. So I think you should come back to running. It's pretty fun in the winter.
Yeah, sounds like a race sign up is needed for those two.
Definitely. I think they need to duke it out at a race, just like they were duking it out on the track, because that was fun to see. Last up is Calvin Kangas. And this one, I know all of our minds were blown. One, with him at the BIM ride, and two, even bigger, at his Ironman Ottawa performance. I thought, based on his run training, there was 100% chance he was blowing up, and I ate my words. He had a crazy all-around day, swim, bike, run, just a complete performance. But then, we haven't seen him since. So, Calvin, please come back to Strava, come back to us. You're in Ottawa, so get on those burrito loops. Just give us a sign of life, please. But the winner of this award, we're going to have to give it to Jacob. And that is because there has truly been no sign of life on Strava. We really want you back. So yeah, Jacob, unfortunately, you are the recipient of the Ghost Award.
These were three very good nominees, and I'm not even joking. I haven't heard from Calvin in months, and like I said, I'm not joking. He literally texted me before I hopped on the call, sending me a video of him on the treadmill saying, "We're back, baby." So he might have been living in the future here, and I think he's back on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Love to hear it.
This was a really competitive category, and I hate to see it, but it makes for good competition. So it's nice to know that the BIM community is always pushing. Even when they know an award like this is on the table, they're trying hard to get it. Jacob, for example, the last ride he was on, the last activity he posted to Strava was a ride with Pete and I on August 2nd. And ever since getting dropped by Pete, he hasn't been able to touch the bike again.
Now, I will give Jacob a shout out. Although he's definitely the recipient of this award, and it's well deserved, he took some of the nicest photos at the Toronto Waterfront Marathon, and that might have only been possible because he's been a ghost. So
That's
he had
true.
the energy to take such nice photos.
That's true.
Very true, very true. Let's just say we hope he's not in this category next year. Next up on the list here, again, has been another poll from the community. It's called Performance Without Intimidation. Who has been the most impressive in both consistency and performance? So the nominees here, we have three nominees. Hussein Al Mufti. We had goes a couple months back now, a recent interview with him on just his day-to-day, his performance, and of course his consistency is why he's nominee here. We have Ian as well. Spoke about him in the top of the episode, and a resident BIM member, and of course only going up with performance and consistency. So very good nominee there. And we have, of course, Chloe Nolette as well, just getting up in that training, of course, runs her own run club and social media, does very good. And can't wait to see how well she does in the coming season. But from the polls, we did get Hussein El Mufti as the recipient of this award. I think well deserved. We spoke about it again in that interview, and I think just one race after another, even week over week, he has been crazy consistent and, of course, very performant in anything he does. So big ups to Hussein, and can't wait to see what he does in 2026.
Yeah, I definitely like how you say in everything he does, because he's a champion in many ways, as we learned in the interview with him. And even this past weekend, he flew to Dubai for a dental conference and ran a half marathon, his PR at a 404 pace, 125 half marathon on 2 hours of sleep in the opposite time zone. Absolutely. Wild. Yeah, performant individual, and it's great to see. We can all learn something from him for sure. So next up is the most impressive December challenge. This was a great thing that was put on by the community. Many athletes putting out a bet against themselves, against what they can achieve in a single month. Some of the nominees include John and B for their 5 mile a day for the full month. Tomic Conifal, we don't have a prize for the most, or we should say the strongest or even the biggest bench of the BIM community. He definitely earned that, but he did prove us all wrong with that 225 bench, proving that endurance athletes can be strong too. And then finally, Andrew Hitrusko with a 22:30 minute 5K. So the winner here, and this was something that we chatted about, and what we ended up choosing is Andrew Hitrusko for his 22-minute and 22:30 5K, because of the progress that he made versus his PR. He had never broken 25 minutes in a 5K, and he ended up chopping off about 10%, which is incredible, actually over 10% from his time, shaving off 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And this was something that we actually pushed him to get more aggressive. He accepted, and he still accomplished it. And for anybody who's been trying to grind out a 5K PR, how difficult that is, and to tackle that all within a month is quite the feat and deserving of an award.
Yeah, that's fun. And I'm really happy he took that challenge and actually crushed it. So yeah, big congrats to Andrew. And now I'm getting scared because he's getting into my territory and fighting me for my 5K spot.
Oh, and I've had a couple of chats with him, and he's hungry for it. And that is on his sights, and he's actively speed training, unlike you, to get that sub 20-minute 5K. So he's gunning for you.
I'm big business training only right now. We got some burrito business to take care of, and then we get onto the training plan. So I can't wait to get back to that 5K. Next up here for another new award we have is Most Wholesome Guest. So 3 nominees here. Kennedy Brunton, you guys might have seen her in the past with also an interview, a good couple interviews with her, and of course, the past year's recipient of the Heart of BIM Award. So again, she's just completing that mission, Heart of BIM Award, dealing with community, spreading joy and happiness through endurance sport and running. Definitely a good nomination there. We, of course, have Ian, the man himself. Again, can't wait to see what he does in 2026, and I think is well deserving of this nomination as well. And we have Bernadette Morrissey, or as we all know her, Madame Morrissey. She was also a podcast guest, very enjoyable conversation, and of course, super wholesome. We did the Dragon Boat special with her and how endurance sport changed her life in the later stages, not like us in let's say the mid-20s. So it was very interesting conversation. And again, paddling across Lake Ontario was just a wild story to hear. And yeah, the winner of this award goes to Madame Morrissey. So big congratulations to her, and very happy to be reconnected with her as some of her past students. And she's still supporting us basically every day. And we just love to see the support.
Yeah, it's just so encouraging. Just wants everyone to find that love and joy of endurance activities. And it's just been so fun chatting with her about all the things she's been up to and how she's spreading that through the community. So next up, and this one is super important and the main reason why we do this here at Boys in Motion, that is the community champion. So that is for the person that brings the community together for the love of endurance sport, for good times, for PRs, doesn't matter as long as it's getting people together. These are the people that are doing it. The first nomination here is Chloe Nollet, and that is for all she's done for Coffee Cruisers. She hosts a weekly run club on Saturdays, generally in St. Catharines at Bright Pores Cafe. And I know going into 2026, she's expanding it further to do some track nights, to do some swimming, and kind of expanding it into triathlon. So it's pretty cool to see. And she brings tons of people out with the North End Runners. The next nomination is Ezekiel Bertrand, and this is for specifically for his track ultra. I remember seeing pictures, videos where he just wanted to do this random track ultra with the goal of doing 125 kilometers. And it was pretty cool to see how many people he got out there to support him, to go out and do unexpectedly hard things on a random weekend, on a random track, for just for the love of the game. So that was pretty awesome to see. And the last nomination, the dynamic duo, and before Burrito League was blowing up your Strava feed, it was these two that was blowing up your Strava feed, with everyone in Niagara getting them out with the Coffee Trotters, and that is Brian Caparici, Chris Carter, who just bring the Niagara community together for endurance sports, whether it's swimming, biking, running, coffee, bagels, you name it, they're doing it, and they're always doing it as a group. But for this one, we're gonna have to give it to Chloe for what she's done at Coffee Cruisers. She was a great partner for the BIM 5K this year, and it's just so awesome to see that community she's built, and we're super excited to see what she does in 2026.
Yeah, super duper well earned, and huge thank you to Chloe. She has been a great partner, and I know out of everybody in Niagara, she's got to be one of the top people who have brought new people into the sport, and we love to see it. So yeah, hugely beneficial and positive person in the community, really making a change. So well earned, and we're looking forward to seeing what comes next for her. Next up is a great award. It's those who completed their first marathon, but really we're most interested in the person who completed and had the best performance in their first marathon. There were a number of people, but I think we have two really good candidates for this, and then a few honorable mentions. So I think Adam Bosco, certainly an honorable mention. I forget exactly how long he took to complete his first marathon, but he completed it in mostly style and a little bit of blood. So he certainly accomplished quite the feat. He was up there on his feet for a long time. I remember turning up to the finish line as he was passing the halfway mark, and he just couldn't believe it. He told me afterwards that was very demoralizing, but he still got through his first marathon. So huge congrats there. Another very honorable mention is Mark. Tyler has here Vark Vaillancourt for those who are in the know, but Mark was not 100% trained, I would say, where it compared to what he wanted to have. I think he was missing a few long runs that he had in the schedule, but wasn't able to do them, but he still crossed that finish line in style. But somebody was styling on him, and I don't actually have it in the list, but we're adding him as a dual recipient of this. So the first winner is Jansen Bautista, who battled his way. He was swinging back and forth against Mark in that marathon completion, and in the 42nd or 41st kilometer actually passed Mark, gave him a quick tap on the shoulder, and blasted by him, finishing his first marathon sub 4. And then also Kennedy Brunton, another winner of the first marathon performance award, with her 4:13:14 at the Toronto Waterfront Marathon. She said she had never experienced so much pain in her life, but she still got it done. It was hugely rewarding. She was one of those people who got the crew running every weekend for the whole year here in Niagara, and I think it all accumulated in that marathon finish. And I'm glad the three of us were there to witness it with many others. So yeah, congratulations to that group.
Big congratulations. You'll never forget the feeling of that first finish line that you cross at a marathon. Amazing feeling, and you couldn't have said that any better. Hurts so good.
Yeah, I think most of those people have a marathon on their calendar already for 2026. Yeah, I think they all have the marathon bug, which is awesome to see because I know we definitely have it around here between the three of us.
That's it. The first one is good, but the second one's even sweeter. You got to get bit by the bug and go for it. I remember crossing the finish line at my first. I said never again, but oh gosh, am I glad I changed my mind.
All right, and this has been, people have been asking, and we're opening up the books and showing you the numbers. And that is for the Most Avid Listener Award. So at the end of the year, we got our stats from YouTube, we got our stats from podcasts, Spotify, and we started crunching because we wanted to know who listens the most to the podcast and is consistent. That is key, especially for this first nominee who is just going to get an honorable mention because he was rising the ranks in our listeners charts, but then completely fell off. And that is Peter Hackman. Avid listener, but you fell off. So we want you back, and consistency is king. You know that from your marathon training. Consistency is king. So we'll move on to the actual nominations, and it will be the dual winners because they were dead even in our stats. That is Grace Goupy. Second winner is Joyce Martell. And we've heard that they're both big screen listeners, always putting up the boys on the big screen. So we appreciate both of you. We love that you tune in every single week, exactly when it drops. And if we're ever late to post, we always hear about it. So we'll try our best not to be late in 2026.
Better late than never. Yeah, we get those requests. We get the, hey, why did you guys post late this week? The viewers want what the viewers want, and we're here to stay consistent, just like our consistency kings and queens. And yes, this is our last award here. Last but not least, like we did last year, I think we held this for the end, the Heart of BIM 2025 award. So this one as well, we set out as a poll. So again, the heart of the community of BIM, we have put this out to the waves, and we did Mustafa El Saba as a nominee. We also had Ian as a nominee as well, and Hussein El Mufti. Though these three here have, I think in my mind, they're three of the BIM, the heart of BIM's athletes here, and I think that they all three deserve a big shout out. But the one who has won the poll nominees is Hussein, with a crazy season. Again, just crazy consistent, crazy performant. We could go on all day. Great interview, and just overall great guy. He has won the Heart of BIM award.
Yeah, I think there was no denying it. If I had a vote in the community for one of these three, I'd try to split it across all three, but if I could only give it to one, Hussein is very deserving of that award. A father, an entrepreneur, I think a doctor, a surgeon, an athlete, and they all seem to come first in his list of priorities. And yeah, it was really inspiring. He's like very high performing in everything he does, which is something we strive for at BIM. I know he's got those consistency rituals of those weekly runs, all of the work that he puts in. It's not hidden, it's influencing others to be better, and that's something that we're striving to do as well. So huge congratulations. And if anybody could share a little bit of wisdom, it's always him, and he's always happy to do so. Yeah, great to have him win the second ever Heart of BIM award.
Big congrats. I think that wraps up our BIM 2025 awards. I guess any closing notes for the panel here before we close things off?
Yeah, just huge shout out to everyone that won the awards, nominees. I wish we had another hour and we could expand the BIM Awards, but we're trying to keep it concise for our listeners. But yeah, just one last congratulations to everyone that won nominations, and here's to 2026.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the community does, whether it's crazy things, consistent things, or community things. I'm looking forward to seeing what the next year has ahead for all of us. And I think this is a good way to summarize the efforts that are done by the community, and excited for another 365.
Couldn't have said it any better. We're going to close it off there. That's a wrap for 2025 BIM Awards. Stay tuned for next episode. Huge love to every single person out there who voted, got nominated, gave comments, liked, subscribed, everything. Just show up to the community, said yes to anything, and just joined any activity they could. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with a friend. And if you're in Toronto or Ottawa, go run some Burrito League segments. The leaderboards don't climb themselves.
And as always, our weekly reminder, we're just three endurance nerds sharing what we've learned and sharing things about our community. We're not medical professionals, so consult the pros when needed. So yeah, until next time, stay consistent, keep chipping away, and maybe next year you can get a BIM award. So we'll see you out there.